What is up, everybody? JT Dangerously here once again, and I am back for my Week 14 NFL predictions. Now, of course, Week 13 just ended with the Indianapolis Colts beating those lowly New York Jets on Monday Night Football. So my record for this week and ending Week 13 is 11-4. So it's another winning week. It's a straight winning week since Week 6. What can I say? We are on a roll this year. These last couple weeks going into the home stretch. So we're at 8. Let's go for 9 straight weeks this week. Of course, what can I say? You guys did it again. Oh, of course, I don't want to forget my overall record. Through Week 13 is 122-69. So it's a pretty good record. We are continuing the streak, so that is fantastic news. Now, before I start this video, again, I have got to thank everybody who did watch my Week 13 video. You guys showed up again. 628 views on that video, 24 likes, 17 subscribers gained out of that video, and I want to personally thank you. I want to personally thank those people who subscribed to the channel. Of course, welcome to the Dangerous Alliance. I am JT Dangerously, and thanks for subscribing and supporting the channel. Of course, we had 35 comments from some great football fans. Cannot say thank you enough, and I'll just continue to say it. Thank you. And of course, 628 views. I'm sorry that my voice was not that great in that video. I was doing that at 1 o'clock in the morning. 1 o'clock in the morning, so if my voice was bad, I'm sorry about that. I'm hoping this video will be a little bit better for people who listen to my voice. So again, I want to thank everybody for the support and the comments. Their commenters showed up representing their teams. Few funny comments, a few people making bold upset predictions, which was pretty cool to see. But again, I want to thank everybody who commented. I want to thank every new subscriber that came to the channel. I want to thank everybody who smashed that like button. 24 likes, amazing! You guys are freaking awesome, and I have so much ton of respect for you. So again, thank you from this shark man's heart and respect. Now, let's get right into these picks. Now, of course, there is no buys this week, and I don't think there's going to be any buys till the season. So you won't hear me talk about the teams that are coming that are on a buy. So there's no buys this week. And of course, I'll just say this right now: there will be a team on the list that happened on Sunday. So be prepared for that. And it's a team that's been on the list before, so they're going to be on the list for the second time. So again, be prepared for that. So let's get right into these picks, starting with the Thursday night matchup. The Oakland Raiders heading to Arrowhead Stadium to play the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football. Now, of course, the Oakland Raiders beat the Buffalo Bills when they were down 20-9 against the Bills. What did they do? They come back. They looked good. They were down that whole game on Sunday, and they come all the way back at home and got it done. And what can I say? The Raiders are in first place in the AFC, number 1 seed right now. Raiders are the legit team. I cannot put it so bluntly. They are a great football team, finally. Then you have the Kansas City Chiefs, who did beat the Atlanta Falcons I'm going to say right now, by luck. They did beat Atlanta by luck because of an Atlanta blunder, which I'll get to the Atlanta Falcons game. But they did get a win. A win's a win. They did get Justin Houston back. They still didn't have Jeremy Maclin back, but of course, Alex Smith got it done. Even a trick play on 4th down, they ran it and got a touchdown. That when they were up 20-17, they scored a fake punt into a touchdown. So it was a pretty good game for their defense. Defense did work. Few picks for their defense. Hey, the number 1 takeaway team in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs. And of course, these two teams are playing from the AFC West, which of course the Oakland Raiders are in first place. Now in this matchup, this should be a good matchup. It's Derek Carr against Alex Smith. You got Derek Carr out of Fresno State against Alex Smith from Utah. You got Mari Cooper, Latavius Murray, Michael Crabtree, Khalil Mack. You got Spencer Ware, you got Dee Ford, you got Justin Houston, you got Eric Berry, which Eric Berry did get another run back touchdown just like he did at Carolina. So Eric Berry's looking good, and he did it in his hometown. Like he did it in somewhat of his hometown crowd because his mother was there, which was he gave her the game the interception ball, which was pretty classy. Well, of course, Eric Berry's a very classy safety. So coming from me in this matchup, I am going to take the Oakland Raiders because they're the hot team right now in the AFC West, and they're really good. And coming back from 20-9 down is saying a lot about this team, that they can actually come back from a big-time deficit. So coming from me, I am going to take the Oakland Raiders to beat the Kansas City Chiefs on Thursday Night Football, to continue the Thursday night streak for me. I think I haven't lost in a while on Thursday Night Football. Now the Sunday slate that goes in, that's the 10 a.m., 1 p.m. starts, of course, 10 a.m. West Coast, 1 p.m. East Coast. Starting with the Pittsburgh Steelers heading to Buffalo to play the Buffalo Bills. Now, of course, the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the New York Giants. I was right. There was a couple salty Giants fans saying you're wrong about picking against the Giants. Well, what was the score and who won? Steelers won. So you can just take that. Steelers look good. The 3 Bs went off, and it was so funny on the NFL Network that Steve Mariucci, didn't even realize all 3 of those players start with Bs, and it was like the 3 Bs, and I was laughing, thinking to myself, they just got that from me, because I was calling them the 3 Bs a long time ago. Of course, Antonio Brown, 2 touchdowns. Le'Veon Bell over 100 yards. Ben Roethlisberger did work. The 3 Bs at it again. Then you have the Buffalo Bills, who blew a 20-9 lead over the Oakland Raiders. It's the Bills. Can't blame anybody but the Bills. This should be a good matchup. Of course, Pittsburgh definitely needed the win against a very hot Giants team. Buffalo needed a win just to get closer to that wild card spot, but they didn't, and they blew a 20-9 lead. It's the Bills. Coming from me, of course, Tyrod Taylor did good, Sammy Watkins did good, Shady McCoy did good, but it was just, they had a lead, they lost it. So coming from me, I am going to go with the Pittsburgh Steelers again to beat the Buffalo Bills. Now the next matchup, the Denver Broncos heading to Nashville to play the Tennessee Titans. Now, of course, the Denver Broncos did beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Not a blowout. Of course, Trevor Siemian did not play. They put Paxton Lynch in out of Memphis. They look good. Their defense, the no-fly zone in Denver's defense is back. They got a lot of picks off Blake Bortles, but everybody picks off Blake Bortles, so it's not even a surprise. Then you have the Tennessee Titans, who are coming off a bye, so they'll be rested. Hopefully Mariota, hopefully everybody on their team is going to be playing. Now, I usually would have picked Denver in this one, but I think I'm going to go with the upset. I'm going to go with the Tennessee Titans to beat the Denver Broncos, because Tennessee definitely needs a win in that AFC South more than the Denver Broncos in the AFC West. So I'm going to take Tennessee to upset Denver. Now the next matchup, the Washington Redskins heading to Philly to play the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, both teams, of course, from the NFC East, both lost. Washington lost to Arizona, and Philly got blown the fuck out against Cincinnati, which was a shock. Washington looked good. They could have came back and win that game, but of course, Arizona's defense usually blitz on the fourth quarter, like when it's under 2 minutes, they just start blitzing. They start blitzing. But a lot of players look good. Of course, Jordan Reed did not play. And if you have Jordan Reed, keep an eye on him, and hopefully he will play in this game. Kirk Cousins looked okay, not too bad, but again, they were down most of that game. They had leads, but they lost it in the end. Then you have the Philadelphia Eagles, who, what can I say, Eagles fans? I mean, you guys got blown the fuck out by the fucking Bengals. A Bengals team without Gio, without AJ Green, and you guys get blown out. It was so much shocking. Of course, Ryan Matthews didn't play. Jordan Matthews didn't play because they were very, very short-handed. Carson Wentz did not look good. He did have a touchdown, but it was a very, very lopsided game against Cincinnati. So coming from me, hopefully, if Jordan Matthews and Ryan Matthews are back, I am going to take the Philadelphia Eagles to beat the Washington Redskins. Now the next matchup, the Arizona Cardinals heading to Miami to play the Miami Dolphins. Now, of course, the Arizona Cardinals did win against Washington at home. Their hopes are still alive in the bubble teams, but it's very slim, very very slim. Of course, Larry Fitzgerald is now third in the receiving yards. So congratulations to Larry Fitzgerald, fantastic wide receiver, no doubt. Then you have the Miami Dolphins, who did get their asses kicked by Miami. And I'll even admit I should have saw that coming. Of course, somebody asked me for a prediction on that score, and I said 24-20 Dolphins. But I guess I got that wrong because it was 20. It was a blowout from Baltimore. So again, I don't predict picks. I'm never good at those things. So again, don't expect me to put scoring predictions because I'm terrible at it. Miami did not look good. Of course, they did not look good. Devontae Parker did play, even though he was hurting his back. They didn't help their cause in the wild card because they were number 6, and then they just dropped because Denver won. So Miami definitely needs a rebound game, and I think this is going to be it. So I'm going to take the Miami Dolphins to beat the Arizona Cardinals because I think they definitely need a rebound game. Now the next matchup, the San Diego Chargers heading to Carolina to play the Carolina Panthers. Now, of course, the San Diego Chargers did lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, Tampa Bay won. I did pick them. Gotta show them some respect. They got it done. Buccaneers fans, they're the team in the NFC that can get in. Don't be surprised. But San Diego did look good. Melvin Gordon had a good game. Phillip Rivers had a good game. But they just fell short, of course. And then you have the Carolina Panthers, who just got their asses kicked by my Seahawks on Sunday Night Football on Sunday. Blew them out. You can just say it right now. The Panthers are done. And they won't be in that Super Bowl like they were last year. Carolina does not look good. They're maybe the weakest team in the South, even though they're not in the playoffs. So don't expect them to be there. So coming from me, I got to go with San Diego because San Diego looks like the stronger team. Carolina looks like the weakest ass team in the world. So I'm taking San Diego over Carolina. Now the next matchup, the Battle of Ohio. The Cincinnati Bengals heading to Cleveland to play the winless Cleveland Browns. Now, of course, Cincinnati Bengals offense woke up against the Philadelphia Eagles, even without AJ and without Gio Bernard. Jeremy Hill had a great game. Tyler Eifert had a good game. Their rookie wide receivers look good. Defense woke up for once. Where was this all season, Bengals fans? Then you have the Cleveland Browns, of course, coming off a bye. They're playing at home, but they're winless. So what else is there? This is like the Bears-Niners pick. The Bears-Niners game on Sunday. Like I have to pick because they're both terrible. But coming from me, I am going to take the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Cleveland Browns. Now, of course, the whole adage is if any team loses to Cleveland, I won't pick them for the rest of the season. So Cincinnati, do not let me down. So I'm taking the Cincinnati Bengals to beat the Cleveland Browns. Now the next matchup in the NFC North. The Chicago Bears heading to Ford Field to play the Detroit Lions. Now, of course, the Chicago Bears did beat the 49ers at home. Snowy Chicago. Matt Barkley looked pretty good. You cannot deny that. He looked pretty good. But, of course, the Bears are a very rebuilding team. So we're gonna get like a little glimpse of good stuff from Chicago, and then the next week we're gonna see them just get blown out. Then you have the Detroit Lions, who didn't come back from the fourth quarter. They were leading that whole game against the Saints. They completely stopped the Saints. They kept Drew Brees from a touchdown, and even in the Superdome, first time ever, 3 picks from their defense. Matthew Stafford, Clutch Stafford. They did not have Marvin Jones, but they had Golden Tate. They had Theo Riddick. They had Eric Ebron, and Eric Ebron's looking good as a tight end. And it's so funny that they're this good without Calvin Johnson. They've done better without him than with him, and that's saying a lot. And Detroit, of course, is maybe the best team in the North. Minnesota is good up there. Green Bay is up there too because they're catching up. So I can't say anything bad about the Packers, but of course the Bears are maybe the worst team in the North. So coming from me, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to beat the Chicago Bears. Now the next matchup in the AFC South Division, the Houston Texans heading to Lucas Oil Stadium to play the Indianapolis Colts. Now, of course, the Houston Texans did lose to the Packers. Of course, they tried to come back in the end, but fell short. As usual with the Texans, like I've said in Week 13, the Houston Texans are the weakest team in the AFC. Not a trustworthy quarterback, very sketchy, very suspect quarterback who's not a clutch quarterback. He's a good backup quarterback. Of course, Jadeveon Clowney did not play in this game, so, but still, like, they were playing at Lambeau, it was snowing, but Houston is never good. Houston is not going to be good, and they're going to be, I wouldn't even be surprised if they'd be knocked out in the first round in the playoffs, so that's just maybe my bold prediction that Houston will be knocked out in the first round. They have the Indianapolis Colts, who did win on Monday Night Football against the Jets tonight, so they looked good. Andrew Luck did play after the concussion, after not playing last week. He did not play last week. So they looked good. Offense looked good. Defense looked good. So that's good. So coming from me, because I don't think Houston deserves to be in first place, I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts. Again, do not hate me, Houston Texans fans, but the Houston Texans team is very suspect. So I'm going to take the Indianapolis Colts to beat the Houston Texans. Now the next matchup, the Minnesota Vikings heading to Jacksonville to play the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, of course, the Minnesota Vikings did lose, but the challenge that I had on Zeke the Freak, they stopped them. So congratulations, Vikings fans. You stopped Zeke the Freak for the first time in weeks. Any other team didn't do it, but the Vikings did. Kept them under 86 yards. Sam Bradford had a pretty decent game. Defense looked good. And then, And then, of course, they lost to the Cowboys on Thursday, which they could have won, but, of course, the whole face mask non-call, so you cannot, it's on the refs. But I'm not a Vikings fan, I'm just saying that. Then you have the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, of course, did lose again. Jaguars, garbage, what can you say? So coming from me, and of course, because they met my challenge, I am going to go with them. I have to go with the Minnesota Vikings because they met my challenge, and they got it done. They stopped Zeke the Freak, so I'm going to pick it this week. So I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings to beat the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now the next matchup, and another one of these terrible two teams I don't care about matchup. The New York Jets heading to Santa Clara to play the San Francisco 49ers. Now, of course, the Jets did lose to the Colts, so, of course, they are garbage. Jets sucks. They didn't have a great game on Monday. Well, of course, because it's the Jets. Then you have the San Francisco 49ers, who did lose to the Chicago Bears in Chicago. They're one win, only one win, mind you, one win. And, of course, in that game, they did bench Colin Kaepernick, which I can understand because that was not his best game. But they cannot, because, of course, San Francisco doesn't play a lot of snow games. Because that game was just, if you watched it on Fox, that game was snowed. Snow. And, of course, they put Blaine Gabbert in, but didn't stop the bleeding. So, hopefully, they'll have Colin Kaepernick in that game, and that was just benching him because this was kind of an off game. So, of course, Carlos Hyde had a okay game, like everybody else that had a good game. So coming from me, and this is like a toss-up because they're both terrible, and I don't like either one of them. I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers to beat them. So I'm going to take the 49ers. I'm going to have the 49ers beat the Jets. Now the next matchup in the NFC South Division, the New Orleans Saints heading to Tampa to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Of course, the New Orleans Saints got beat at home. Drew Brees maybe had his worst game. He threw 3 picks, no touchdowns. First time since he's been in the Superdome. He is not the whole throwing touchdowns at home streak ended. They did not look good, which did not help their cause in the NFC South. Then you have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who got it done. They beat San Diego. It was the Jameis Winston and Mike Evans and Dougie Martin show. Love the Buccaneers or hate them, you gotta respect them. They're maybe the hottest team in the NFC wildcard in the bubble teams that are trying to get into the wild card position, they're maybe the hottest. They beat Kansas City, they beat Seattle, then they beat San Diego on Sundays. So they're very hot right now, and they're going back home. Coming from me, I got to keep going with the Buccaneers. They haven't failed me yet, and they're really good. So coming from me, I am going to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to beat the New Orleans Saints. Now the next matchup, the Dirty Birds, the Atlanta Falcons, heading to the Coliseum to play the LA Rams. Now, of course, the Atlanta Falcons did lose to the Kansas City Chiefs. Now the team that was getting in, of course, is the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons coaching staff. Now, you know what happens when you could have gone for the extra point and you go for 2 and they score on you and then you lose by 1 point because they scored. Eric Berry ran a interception back. You know what happens when you make a stupid call like that? You just made my list. I mean, how? Coaching staff for the Falcons. This is the second time I put you on the list, on my list of dangerously. How do you had a touchdown. You got a touchdown like a minute, like about a few minutes into the fourth quarter, like left in the fourth quarter. You choose to go for 2 points other than going for the 3. Like, you're going for the extra point. You go for 2. And then you have it get picked and run back and you lose by 1. Like, Falcons fans, are you guys going to collapse again? Are you serious? I mean, Atlanta Falcons coaching staff for that stupid decision against going for the extra point other than going for 2 and getting it picked and losing. You just made my list and you are known as stupid idiots. Now, then you have the LA Rams. Of course, Jared Goff. LA Rams did lose to my Patriots pretty handily. Of course, the Rams are not looking good. Of course, they did re-sign Jeff Fisher for 2 years, so that's good for you LA Rams fans because Jeff Fisher is a very good coach. Jared Goff, again, he went through murderer's row. He played the Saints last week. He played the Saints, then he played the greatest of all time, Tom Brady. Now he's got to play against Matt Ryan, Julio Jones, Devontae Freeman, Tevin Coleman, and that defense. So this is like murderer's row when it comes to this rookie quarterback. And so coming from me, I am going to take the Atlanta Hawks, the Atlanta Falcons to beat the LA Rams. But if the Atlanta Falcons lose to the LA Rams, Falcons, you will never be picked by me. You will never be picked by me through the regular season. Like, through the end of this season. You will not see me pick Atlanta. So Atlanta, this is your last chance. So I'm taking Atlanta over LA. Now the next matchup. My Seattle Seahawks heading to Lambeau Field to play the Green Bay Packers. Now, of course, the Seattle Seahawks put an ass kicking on the Carolina Panthers on Sunday Night Football. Danger Russ showed how much dangerous he is. Of course, their defense, but the biggest loss they had was Earl Thomas. He did fractured he had a lower leg fracture and he's out indefinitely. So that's a huge loss for the Legion of Boom. Broke his trying to get a pick off on Cam Newton, and he had a lower leg fracture, so he is out indefinitely. So I don't know if we'll see him at all this whole season until maybe. Well, we won't see him this season, so he's going to be out for the season. But, of course, they look good. Thomas Rawls looked good. Danger Russ looked good. Jimmy Graham looked good. Tyler Lockett looked good. He had some good run backs. So they're coming in hot after beating Carolina on Sunday. Then you have the Green Bay Packers, who did win at home against Houston in the snow. Of course, I did hear that Aaron Rodgers is guaranteeing that they're going to win the rest of their games and get to week 17 against the Lions, and maybe that would be for the NFC North. But when you I can guarantee things all I want, but I'm never right. I've been right a few times with guarantees. So guarantees are one thing. like shooting, like saying it up top in the highest building, saying, "Oh, we're gonna win the rest of our games this season," it's a very good bluff. No offense, Packers fans, but it's a really good bluff. So coming from me, I am gonna take the Seattle Seahawks to beat the Green Bay Packers. Now the Sunday Night Football matchup, the battle of the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys heading to Gotham to play the New York Giants. Now, of course, the Dallas Cowboys did win. Dak Prescott didn't have a great game, but he did have 2 touchdowns to Dez Bryant. And, of course, Zeke Elliott had a touchdown, but he only had 86 yards. So, of course, that streak ends at trying to stop him, get him to 90. Again, with the Minnesota pick, I had to pick Minnesota. Then you have the New York Giants, who did lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Even bigger streaks have to end. They were 8? They were on an 8-game winning, I think a 6-game winning streak or an 8-game winning streak. It had to snap. They were playing a better team. Running game, of course, was nowhere. With the Giants, there's never any running game. They have no running game whatsoever. It's just Eli to Shepard, Eli to Beckham, Eli to Jennings if he wants to pass, Eli to Willie Tye, but of course, and then I'm making this pick. Of course, Dallas is the hot hand, and coming from me, I'm gonna stick with the hot hand. I gotta go with the Dallas Cowboys because this is revenge. This is a revenge game for the Cowboys because their one loss in an 11-1 season, their one loss was to the New York Giants in the fourth quarter. So this is definitely a revenge game for the Dallas Cowboys. So I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys to beat the New York Giants on Sunday Night Football. Now the Monday night matchup that goes against, of course, Monday Night Raw. The Baltimore Ravens heading to Foxborough to play my New England Patriots. Now, of course, the Baltimore Ravens did beat the Miami Dolphins handily. Joe Flacco went off. If you had him on fantasy, boy, you had a great week. 4 touchdowns, only 1 pick. He was throwing the ball. Steve Smith, Dennis Pitta, their tight end, getting the work. So Baltimore looked good. Then you have the New England Patriots, who did win. Tom Brady missed win number 201, the winningest quarterback in NFL history, passing Peyton Manning as the greatest of all time in quarterbacks. So congratulations to Tom Brady, greatest of all time. Of course, they look good without Gronkowski, who's out for the season because of the back injury. So speedy recovery, Rob Gronkowski, and I hope to see you next season. Of course, there was one injury to be said. Danny Amendola did injure his leg, and he came back with a walking boot. So if you have Danny Amendola, make sure you keep an eye on him going into this week. And of course, it's Tom Brady against Joe Flacco. We've been here before, Patriots fans. And we know that sometimes we know the results for it. So coming from me, I'm going to take the New England Patriots to beat the Baltimore Ravens on Monday Night Football. And those are my Week 14 NFL picks. Now, I hope you enjoyed my picks. Comment below. You guys were bombing on the comments in Week 13. Let's keep it coming in Week 14. If you need me to put my, if you need my picks written on the comments, I will gladly do it if you ask. Of course, represent your team. Who do you have winning this week? Make some bold predictions. Show off your channel if you're making picks too. I'm always on to like your comment and reply to your comment. Please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and become part of this dangerous alliance. And I will see you in the next video. See ya.